So there's an interview that actually popped up a few years ago. This is the interview after the release, or maybe somewhere before the release of Batman Arkham Knight. This was an interview that was actually conducted with Stephen Hill, who is the manager of the studio that is Rocksteady Limited. In that interview, he talked about the story surrounding their own development of Arkham Knight and how, as a development studio, they felt they'd come full circle and they were not going to be in any way making another Batman game at that time. You know, he basically, in many words, even though the interviewer kept pressing him, he mentioned the fact that they were done with Arkham games at that moment. And to me, I go back to this video every time because it is, in my opinion, one of the more interesting outlooks for the Arkham games as a whole. Because I think what this basically said was, you know, we're done with this project and we want to move on with our own ideas. We want to go our own way. And so this is respected. You can always respect something like this from a development team. The reason I'm making this video and the reason I'm starting out with these statements is because it appears to me that a lot of the, community that surrounds the Batman games have unfairly judged Gotham Knights because it's not an Arkham game. Even though we won't say it, I'll say it for myself. I judge Gotham Knights at the beginning of the onset of this game from the perspective of this is not an Arkham game. If you want to go through my Gotham Knights playlist, you can see that there are about 300 videos. Go all the way down. You're going to see, basically study how my opinions, I don't know if you have time for 300 videos. I'm not saying you must, but you'll probably see how my opinions have shifted. And that's because I went back to this interview to watch it. What about the fans at the time that Rocksteady was making this decision? Did they consider that the fan base will probably want something in that nature? Did they consider that, their fan base was quite dedicated to the character and would have loved to see continuations of the character? I mean, what were their own constraints? Were they bored? Were they tired? Did they want to go with another creative direction? I think these are all the different nuances that have not necessarily been spoken about in different contexts. And I wanted to make sure that I actually highlighted it. Because at some point, you really got to look and say, okay, if Rocksteady is not going to bat for me, why am I going to be batting for them, or at least putting their own expectations on top of another studio, which is Warner Brothers Montreal? This is just an objective argument. This is me jumping out of my bias for a little bit and looking at it. Even though I like Arkham, even though I like Rocksteady, this is just me taking that, stance and looking very carefully at it. Because what it is that kind of knocked me into this little, slight alternate thinking for a moment, even with my biases towards and in favor of Arkham, is some of the comments that have been made here in the community. Someone just said, just in one of my last videos, I think, a lot of people will go for bat, to bat for Rocksteady, but are not necessarily considering that this studio is one that's doing its own thing. Yes, I've seen these comments in different ways, but that kind of, in a sense, shook me a little bit. And I still go back and look at that interview and, see Stephen Hill basically in his own demeanor, he was genuine about it. They were kind of done with the character and just left the fans out there. There was no going back at that time because it had already been said. After that game was going to be released, they weren't working on any other project at that time. So it was something where they knew that once we ship this game out, we are done, man. We are done. It brings me to another side of the conversation of the, comments surrounding the next gen, availability, the move of Gotham Knights to, the current gen consoles and all. And I see a lot of people that are, in a sense, loyal to their brand of the PlayStation console. I remember making a video about Spider-Man possibly coming to PlayStation. I got a lot of feedback from that, by the way. For those of you who are community members, I appreciate y'all. But somebody dragged my video to Twitter and wanted to argue and, maybe make jest of me. But sometimes that's not the wisest thing to do because I come with receipts all the time. I don't make my videos from an uninformed perspective. If I do, I ask you guys in the comment section to inform me. And so that's kind of the difference. I don't know anything. I don't know everything. In fact, I've grown to be a better creator in the comic space because of this community. That's why you guys are the MVPs. And so in that conversation, they made it seem like, Sony and PlayStation was like the superior platform and made it seem like I was an Xbox fanboy. And I laughed because I've never really owned an Xbox long enough to even be called that. The very first Xbox that I kept for up to a year is my Series X. And I wanted to go ahead and still continue the answering of this question of how can anybody who's looking towards playing Gotham Knights get into the ecosystem? I say brand loyalty is dead. I say do whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself into the ecosystem that you need to start enjoying the games as they're coming out. So here is a practical step to answer this question as well that one of my audience members brought up. Like, how can I get in on this Xbox platform so I can play Gotham Knights since I can't find or don't want to pay for a PlayStation 5? Well, here's another avenue. There's actually a program that's actually called the Microsoft Online Trade Program. This is a program where you can actually go ahead and, in a sense, you can trade in a device of yours and send it in, and Microsoft is going to pay you or use the credit for you to be able to purchase a new Xbox Series S. Now, if you have an Xbox, you can actually use that credit to go for a Series X, but they're making it much more of a general aspect. So pretty much all you do is you pretty much come here and you get a trading value, and you use that trading value to, pretty much go through a process. And they will give you money for any device that is under these brands, including Nintendo and Sony. So, are you that loyal to the brand that if you really want to play a game, or if you really want to get into, say, a new ecosystem, that you're not going to make the move? Because at the same time and at the end of the day, as you're holding on to an old generation console, it's becoming more and more useless. Yes, you can get God of War out of it and Horizon Forbidden West and Street Fighter 6, but I cannot guarantee you even Spider-Man 2. And yes, I know Spider-Man 2 is going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 5, but you already said you're not ready for a PS5 at the moment. So there are different aspects and limitations. And if you walk through this, it asks you questions. Do you have just the same GameStop questions, right? When you go into somewhere, did you recently make a purchase from Microsoft Store? No. Do you plan to use the cash back on a new purchase on a device? You say yes. You say select, you say calculate value, and it tells you how much the value is for your PlayStation 4 Pro. Then you can actually use that to go ahead and make a purchase on the store here on the Microsoft Store, and you can and it says yes, and then you can pretty much select the device that you want to purchase, and you can buy an Xbox console, you can buy a Series X or Series X, and you can go from there. This is, in my opinion, something that I feel like a lot of people, are ignoring, or at least are probably not aware of, or maybe stifling themselves from enjoying the different opportunities that are out there. Microsoft has come to win. They want to really play hardball in this generation. So how are you going to go about it as a gamer? I'm not saying you must buy a Series S. No. I'm providing information about options that are available out there. Because as we can be really loyal to a brand, I don't think brands are as loyal to us as we perceive. So you, as the gamer, you're in here to just enjoy new games, or maybe even visualize them, or maybe even, I don't know, just check them out or whatever it is. So you have to actually start making moves that will put you in that will position you at least in that spot. Because right now we are 21 days, 3 weeks away from the release of Gotham Knights. So you kind of have to know what your reality is. And this is pretty much a way for everyone out there to be able to get more of a shot, more of a chance to be able to make a purchase for a new console that will get you in. And I understand it may be hard to part with your PlayStation. If you want, you can use your Xbox for the trade. I'm not saying only PlayStation. I'm just saying that there is some value in that PlayStation device, but you have to pay a little bit of money, but that reduces your cost. And it may be a no-brainer. But also keep in mind that, again, you're holding on to a piece of technology from 2013 that is, at this stage, outdated by like 4 years. It really is outdated by 4 years. And that's me being generous. Because if you think about 2016, that's when the real epitome of gaming was quite realized in the PC side, which, consoles use some of the architecture structure of PC. And it was at this time we knew that console gaming was already shot dead. That's why Sony and Microsoft started making the moves, and it took them even still about 4 years from that time. And I'm using 2016 as a marker because that's when the GTX 1080 Ti was released in the market and gained notoriety as a graphics card, a device that was taking gaming to a whole new level. And from there and then, it took Microsoft and Sony 4 years to deploy a console that would at least produce some kind of the quality of a graphics card like that, or even better. And even in that 4 years, PC gaming continued to scale and go nuts. And now 4K is a very achievable metric within even mid-range gaming PCs. If not anything, maybe even 2K at the best settings. So consider this for those of you who are looking at your options. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk in another video. Peace out.